Hey guys, Mike here. So today, I'm here to talk to you about 2004's Saw, starring Cary Elwes as Lawrence and Leigh Whannell as Adam. In Saw, two strangers awake in a room with no recollection of how they got there. However, they soon find out that they are pawns in a sinister game by a sadistic serial killer. And so we have Saw. So guys, today's movie was requested by no one. This was just another one I wanted to watch because I hadn't seen it before. And as it is October, let's let the horror movies roll in. And obviously, with not seeing this one, I haven't seen any other movie in the Saw franchise, which I believe they're up to like 7 or 8 movies, which is just insane. But in any case, let's talk about where it all started with Saw. Well guys, I would say that Saw is definitely everything it promises to be. It's gory and sadistic, and it questions the morality of human beings. It really puts forward what you would do to stay alive, or even save anyone else, or just save yourself. But I would say it didn't do it to the degree that I thought it was going to. Because to be honest, I thought that the whole film was going to be a series of different traps with an ironic morality twist to it. And I would say that it does deliver on that. But it's not the complete focus of the film. Because the first Saw movie is more about the mystery as to why the two main characters are there, as opposed to the different kind of creative traps. I mean, don't get me wrong, the traps and torture scenes are still in there, but they're not the main focus. And as well, I wouldn't say that the main focus of this film is about morality. Because again, it's more about the mystery. I guess it must be in the later films where they really dig deep into the morality aspect. Like I said, it's not that it's not there, it's just not the main focus. Like I said, the main focus is the mystery, which is genuinely interesting. But the only problem was that I knew the ending before watching the movie, which was a complete shame. Because honestly, this mystery is just so interesting. The story is brilliantly paced, and it just keeps you guessing throughout. Honestly, had I not known what the ending was, I couldn't have predicted how this movie would end. Because honestly, even when the ending's actually happening, it just feels like it comes completely out of nowhere, and it feels like just such a genuinely great twist. As for the performances though, I would say that everyone does give really good performances. I've heard a few people say that Leigh Whannell isn't exactly great in this film. And while I would agree with people, I would say that it's the fact that he's the weakest performer, not necessarily that he's completely terrible. But I could see how an argument could be made either way, because there are certain points where you're just like, ooh, did you really want to say that line like that? Or you're thinking, maybe you could put a little bit more effort into this one. You can tell that Leigh Whannell's strength definitely comes from his writing, and definitely his directing, because the few movies that he has directed, I've really loved. Like, honestly, if you haven't seen Upgrade or The Invisible Man, honestly, I would highly recommend that you should check those films out, because they are incredible. Now, I don't know if it was the fact that they didn't have enough money to get more actors, that's why Leigh Whannell had to be in the movie, or whether he actually just wanted to be in the movie. I'm not sure, it could be either one. But to be honest, I don't think you could use the excuse of them not having enough money for more actors, because they got Danny Glover in this movie, so they clearly had enough money to at least pay him. But again, I don't know, maybe he took a complete cut to his salary to be in this movie. Who knows? All I will say is, if you're going to get a big star like him, you've obviously got a little bit of dash. I will say, there are one or two things that do make this film feel a little bit dated, and I do think that they kind of will aid in making this film feel even more dated as time goes by. It's these kind of effects that they did really in the late 90s, early 2000s, where they would have these really flashy quick cuts where they're just kind of like shaking the camera and making everything feel disorientating, which is definitely the desired effect. It makes everything feel really intense, it makes it feel really urgent, it makes it feel really panicky, which in the scenes that it's used in is definitely what they want you to feel. But honestly, as you don't really see it that much anymore, it does make the film feel of its time. But honestly, really, just for that one aspect. But again, my gripes are very minor with this movie. And as well, it always cracks me up just seeing like old mobile phones. It is one of those things that makes me feel like I'm watching a piece of history. And as well, I would say another thing that the Saw movies are famous for is their over-excessive use of gore and violence. At least from what I've heard about these movies. But I would say that while the first Saw movie is definitely graphic and very violent, it didn't go to the levels that I thought it would. Honestly, I expected a bit more twisted violence and blood and gore. But I would say for the most part, it's kind of shown off-screen, or it's more the fact that it's alluded to than anything else. Which honestly, I would say is definitely much better. Because to be honest, your mind can always create something much worse than what anyone could put in front of you. So I would say that I'm not disappointed that there wasn't as much blood, gore, and violence. It's just I expected more than there was. Overall, guys, Saw was really enjoyable. A creative horror mystery which definitely keeps you on the edge of your seat throughout the whole film. The performances are really good. While not everyone is great in the film, it's genuinely interesting, it's creative, it makes you question morality, though I would say not to the degree that I expected it to. And for a low budget movie, it is definitely really well made. But do I think you guys should watch this one? Honestly, I would recommend you watch this film. I can't speak to the quality of the later movies. All I can tell you is that the first Saw movie is really enjoyable. Definitely not for the squeamish, but I would say that if you give it a chance, you might find that you enjoy this one. Though, to be honest, I imagine most everyone who is interested in this movie has already seen it. But for those of you who haven't seen it, I would say give Saw a watch. Okay guys, that's my review of Saw. Do you love it? Do you hate it? What do you think I should watch next? Whatever it is, drop it in the comments below. Until next time, I've been Michael. See ya.